Spiritual acoustics. What's going on, expressions of God on earth? My high vibrational expressions of God on earth. It's your boy, Dr. Will Rogers, aka Master Teacher 33. Happy V-Day, Valentine's Day for all you high vibrational males out there. Hey, brothers and sisters, we want to jump right into, this series right here, like the last series, it really is just a continuation of the money flow series, because money is spiritual acoustics. Spiritual acoustics is sound, frequency, wave, and vibration medicine. Today we want to introduce how everything is sound. We're going to talk about how sound has been used against you and how you got to take back your power and how to use sound to actually restore, to revitalize. We're going to be jumping into, as I was sharing a couple of days ago, there's a few doctors who proven how your voice, your sound, totally revitalizes, restores cellular function. It literally brings your cells, blood cells, red blood cells back to life. That's just one piece of the puzzle. The bigger pieces of the puzzles that we're going to be getting into is we've got to get into the military industrial complex, and we've got to get into DARPA. We've got to break down the non-surgical, what they call it, N3 wearables. N3 wearables are next generation non-surgical neurotechnology network. That is how your brain has been hijacked right now. It's been proven that everybody's organs is already, they finalized it in 2012. That's what everybody was talking about, the end of the world. So after 2012, you can't trust your own thoughts, basically. If they turn on the switch, if they target you, and we're going to get into Dr. Robert Gilbert's work, we're going to get into Dr. Lee Carroll's work, we're going to get into also Dr. John Stewart's work, also Dr. John H. Reed's work. All of these gentlemen are part of an organization, or many organizations, I should say, that get into understanding areas by bicameral beats. So in this series, your flow has been hijacked. So we've got to get into the physics of consciousness. We've also got to break down how they have you connected to their field using technology. In other words, as I told you guys before, but now we're going to give you more proof that artificial intelligence is really, like they said with the D-Wave computer and quantum computing, as I mentioned inside of the AI series. But it's nothing to be afraid of, which is why I've been hesitant to share it, just like the race stuff. It's nothing to be afraid of, but I've been hesitant to share it because, if you just share it without just come straight out with no chaser, then, it does seem like, black people are gods and white people are the devil. If you just say it, if you don't explain it. So what we're going to be talking about, if I don't explain it and break it down, it's going to seem like technology is fallen angels. And there's a war going on between fallen angels, and fallen angels uses technology, and technology, the jinn, fallen angels, they use sand. Sand is silicone. So if you create a silicone chip, as I talked about inside of the quantum physics, as I talked about inside of the Duluth refrigerator, you guys remember the book I wrote on Duluth refrigerator, where they said if you create that little small box, that they live there. So all computations are done by the jinn, fire beings, but they don't like clay beings. But we got to break it down. So if I've been slowly introducing it, bits and pieces, because if you just come out and say it, just like, again, when I wrote the book, Black Magic, if you just say it, if you ain't got no melanin, then damn. And then if you do got melanin, what the fuck's going on in your life? You're a god or a goddess. Your computer chip, they use you. That's why black folks come up missing. They use you to create, all technology. We put it that way. They use you to put on the space shuttle. And it's crazy. They literally use ground up, melanin, for lack of a better term. But we got to break down why, though. Why around the world? Y'all just talk about the Nigerian billionaires that were murdered or, died on a helicopter crash. But you just can't say it, because if you say that, that alienates white folks. And, you know, I got a handful of them as it is. They drop like flies, depending on, you know, how you verbalize certain things. And I understand, you know, somebody told me that, I would, you know, I would feel, but we got to get into the biology behind it. Then we got to get into the technology behind it, because that affects your money. So we're not connected to the field. We're connected to the Antichrist. We put it that way. We're connected to a low vibrational field. So your flame, your target, your style, your tone, your zone, your vibe, your energy, your wave, your vibration, your frequencies, all of that, brothers and sisters, has been hijacked. So the architect, the archons, they use sound. But we're going to break down sound writing. How to put your sound or your sonic into your writing, into your environment. That literally changes, that makes you magnetic. Now, your job is to not be afraid of it, but to use it. Like, I understand that when you're staring into a computer, we talked about same thing with your cell phone. If it's off, if you're not using it, you look at it, it's a black mirror. It's scouring. So we got to, you know, we've mentioned this many times before, but now this series, like everything we're doing this year, we got to get more into the implementation of it. Because remember, information is dead now. So you can't sell information. Now you got to sell what? You got to sell implementation. So my job is to teach you all of the information that I've been sharing with you over the years. Okay, how do you implement it now? But that's what I'm learning how to do. So I had to go to a new level. I'm still working out the kinks. And as I'm working out the kinks, I'm hitting certain vibrational resistance. And so I'm asking myself, where is this vibrational resistance coming from? It's cellular though. It's not in my brain anymore. It's my body. So I got to go beyond the classical physics. There's a whole new state of matter that has what they call chimera properties. And so when we go beyond classical physics, without using, quote unquote, the terminology of physics, and break down that it's only through direct observation that you can create synchronization. It is only through direct observation that you can create synchronization. This is the fundamentals of understanding each individual blood cell and your DNA. There are currents that are detected based upon the interaction between sound and light that creates matter. If the phonon and the photon is polarized, they emit a specific electricity and magnetism from the surface of the cells. This is what they call the spin state. This is what I broke down when I talked about spintronics. So the science have discovered now that it's only through direct observation that it literally creates this interaction between sound and light. This interaction between sound and light creates what they call a well-defined spin state or spintronics that revitalize your blood with your own sound. Now, I don't know. Now, remember, this is just the intro, man. This shit, like, I've known this, but I didn't really understand the magnitude of it from the perspective of they've already known this. So this was out in the 50s. In 2012, they basically genetically mapped, for lack of a better term, through Project Maven, M-A-V-E-N, which we'll be breaking down during the series, everybody's carrier wave that carries your unique signature. So you are the technology now. Each cell in your blood, your organs, creates a field Remember, this is biomarkers. This is biomapping. This is biotechnology, biomedicine. And so the dominant cultures, remember, they've been working on this, They finally perfected it. And they created what is called synchrotron. Synchrotron. Y'all remember the movie Tron? But it's the word synchrony, and the last word is Tron, T-R-O-N. And so they synchronized and used electronics to control your organs, your cells. This is all done at the University of Venice. We're going to be breaking all of this down. Remember, I've been talking about spintronics for a while. But now they perfected what is called the signature of the surface. On the surface of each cell in your body, there is a signature. The cells, this is why there's a lot of diabetes, because they perfected how to keep the sugar in the blood so that way it doesn't enter the cell. So when they measure your blood, yeah, you got a lot of, because you have a lot of sugar in your blood, regardless of how much sugar you eat, because they are not giving you the key, which is chromium, to unlock the surface of the cell, to let the sugar into the cell, to create ATP, which is energy. So we got to put that down. So now everybody is suffering from excessive sugar, excessive carbohydrates, and excessive starch. This fuels the gin, or sand, or silicone. If you ever get the jab, or if you ever connect a silicone chip or Neuralink, then you are, from that point on, that's the mark of the beast. You are not you anymore. Because remember, they live. Remember the series that we did on the Duluth refrigeration. This was inside of the AI Summit series where I introduced the technology I took directly from DARPA's page and Project Maven. So we got to get into how they're connecting you to the field. It's just the wrong field. So this is the physics of consciousness. So Dr. Robert J. Gilbert has broken down the technology, and DARPA is using it. And we introduced it when I talked about the manipulation of subatomic particles using large language models or symbols or situals or your name and your numbers. And so in this series, I'm not trying to, be the bearer, the grim reaper or bring bad news, but man, your DNA is now propagating a signal that's not you. Your DNA is sending out a signal. There's a TikTok video the guy is talking about it. I've been saying out how your spinal cord is a receiver. It's an antenna. And in your spinal cord, there's zinc. And I remember we broke down that at the moment of conception, the woman's egg selects the sperm. The sperm doesn't select the egg. And the zinc, that's why you got to have zinc. That's why every black person is suffering from a lack of zinc, a lack of selenium, a lack of magnesium, and a lack of chromium. So that's what makes sperm. That's also the minerals that makes up your materials. So that's his sound therapy. So all I've been doing is revitalizing my blood, which is why I very, very suddenly get sick. And I eat a bunch of sugar, carbs, and starch. But the reason why my blood sugar, as I talked about inside the book, sugar metabolism, I explained it to you guys. And nobody believes me. But again, like I tell you guys, if you watch the movie where the angel is doing what they call spontaneous combustion by eating a bunch of sugar. But it's not the amount of sugar that you ingest, it's the amount of sugar that you can metabolize, assimilate. But you can't because you have no mineralizations, because there's no minerals in the soil. You can be a vegan, you can eat leafy green vegetables all day, ain't shit gonna happen because it's not in the soil. So the dominant culture, then they fuck the air up. They already got the soil. the soil, again, messes up your soul. And so now you got to get into what we talked about when the series that I did on the Society of Light, and then the series that I did on gamma brainwave manifestation. And I talked about the VOX is what it's called in the ancient text. In Latin, it's called vocare, V-O-C-A-R. In English, it's called voice, V-O-I-C-E. But it's V-O-ice. You got to have ice in your veins. So ice is solid water. So that means that you got to silence, you got to solidify the voice in your head. Singularity, as we said at the beginning of the series. At the beginning of now this is just the introduction. Now, you have to create ice in your veins. Your voice, your DNA, now because everybody's DNA is hijacked, now your organs have been retuned. And so it's, let me check the mics real quick. And so it's the physics of connecting to the field. But all computers now are, man, I didn't even say it because I know where to give you the proof. I'm gonna play a couple of videos, so you talk about that. Then we'll get into the series, man. I told you guys way back in the day when we did the AI series, man. When I talked about the AI summit, that computer chip, they live on that chip. The same way we live on a computer chip. It's called Earth. If you look at any city, it's just like any other circuit board. It's just like any other computer chip. We live on a computer chip. So fallen angels live on a computer chip. But it's so small that you can barely detect it by the human eye. But that computer, they live on sand. That's why we use silicon. And so when you are interacting with technology, you're interacting with a demon or a disposition or a low vibrational frequency. However, remember, we don't do fear. Why? God ain't giving us a spirit of fear. They work for us. But they smarter than us. From the perspective of, they always come out benevolent. Just like every rapper comes out and he's a regular dude. I mean, he's hardcore, he's a thug, he's tatted up, he got skinny jeans on, he got his hair up, man. He's like, man, nigga, I'll whoop your ass, fuck with me if you want to. And then he switches, and then he starts sagging and his ass is out, and next thing you know, you find out that Birdman pumped him in the butt. Same thing with, look at Taylor Swift, and look at, the Mandy Moore, whatever her name, they all come out regular people. They get all the little girls, then next thing you know, oh shit. They throwing up the demon signs and the devil signs and shit. They Luciferian down to the core. But they started off in the church. They started off singing, yes, Jesus loves me. Then next thing you know, they got the Pentagon and they fucking burning candles. They didn't start off that way. So you ain't going to start off that way. You're going to be a regular dude. Then what happens when you get a couple of pennies? You're going to build a fortress. You ain't going to know nobody. You're going to separate yourself from everybody else. Money is a dangerous thing, man. I understand it now. I didn't really get it until I got some money. When you get a couple of shekels, man, your life changes. But it's crazy because extreme wealth and extreme poverty is both the same. People who are very poor, they act the same way people that are very rich. Most people just can't see it. And so now we got to delve into, okay, that all sounds great, Doc, but what does that have to do with acoustics? What does that have to do with physics? What does that have to do with the way by which I'm able to progress? Well, holistic healing is based upon your tone, your frequency, your wave vibration. That determines your zone. So now we've got to break down how do we connect, because the field has been hijacked. There's very few people that's connected to the true authentic source. And you can tell because they don't have unconditional love. Meaning what? They don't have no fruit. They don't have no real fruit. Because the fruit is not transferable. Meaning it's not, there isn't what is called link realization. There's a distance between the chains. You cannot tune in. You cannot visualize. You cannot use your imagination in a manner that's not hijacked or hijackable. Let me put it that way. So when we talk about the fact that everybody on this call, you have your own individual frequency wave of vibration that has been hijacked by what we talked about yesterday. When we talked about, LAW, And we talked about, the WBAN. We talked about the fact that now your body, the human body, is the computer. So we got to break that down. We got to go into it and we got to explain how in the hell is my body a computer? How is each one of my organs being used? How are they using frequencies to match my organs so they can hijack my organs? So if they want to give you a heart attack, they can give you one. You cannot take a gun to a frequency fight. You're going to get your ass smoked. Just like you can't take a knife to a gunfight. Well, we got guns. Ain't going to do shit because the government got frequencies. So that's a frequency war. And most people are clueless to the fact that there is a frequency war going on. Now, what I mean by clueless, I mean that, excuse me, we have not been exposed to, most people don't read Pentagon papers or, read DAPA stuff or, do some of the stuff that I do. Because they smart, they hide all of this stuff, in plain sight. So let me switch over real quick on my mic, you guys. Hang on just 1 second. Bear with me for one moment. Let me switch over. All right. So make sure you guys can hear me. That sounds good. All right. There we go. All right. So hopefully you guys can hear me okay. I had to switch over to my mic so it's a little better sounding. And let me hang up that mic. And all right. So I think we feel good. So this series, like all of these series, and I say this all the time, everybody knows the game has changed. The way that you used to make money, that has totally changed. If your job has not been affected by technology, just stick around. So technology is not our friend unless we utilize technology by going within. If you do not go within first, before you tap into technology, then technology will be your God. You will find yourself totally reliant, 100% on technology. Once you become totally reliant, you become what's called a digital mode. Digital mode, M-O-D-E-S. We're going to be breaking that down. When you become a digital mode, you're becoming what is called a modality. At that point, you are ripe for a cyber attack. The mortal wound, everything that's in the Bible, we're going to go through the book of Revelations. Everything in the book of Revelation, chapter 12, the Battle of Armageddon, the pregnant woman that gives birth, and the dragon with the seven horns comes and devours the baby. All of that's about you. All of that's about what's happening inside of your DNA. So nuclear war is not going to be external. Nuclear war is going to be internal. There's a war going on, and it's attacking your nucleus inside of each one of your cells. Everything in the Bible, as I've been saying for 30 years, is about your body. So when the war breaks out, everybody's going to be looking for an invasion. They're going to look for tanks. They're going to look for war and bombs, and this shit's not going to happen. Or we're afraid that it may happen, but that's not the war. The war is inside of your body. It's already happening right now. This is really the third year of the 7 years of tribulation. They are doing what is called coherent routing. They are engaged in coherent rerouting of the cells. They're doing what is called MCP, Manage Control Plan. They have already introduced it. We're going to be breaking it down in the series. This is called wave logics. They're using wave routing and wave logics. They're routing specific frequencies through your body. Remember, I told you guys, everybody has an IP address. Anybody watch like Dateline, any of those shows? You do something, I'll do it. They're going to find you. Unless you like all those Venezuelans that are coming over now. Like, it's been, I don't know what's going on in your city, but here in San Antonio, because they look just like, they're, Hispanics that are here, born and raised in Texas, living, walking around. Well, those dudes, they're not in the system. They have no names, but they're from Venezuela. They speak fluent Spanish, so they assimilate right into the culture, especially here in San Antonio, especially here in South Texas. That's why it's just going on at the border. But when they get arrested, you run a prints, nothing. They have no driver license, they have no ID, they have no name, they speak no English. So how you gonna process them? And they come over here 100,000 a day. But most of them have already been biochipped, or they put in what is called a biomarker. And so they have what is called a coherent router built in. This is next generation IP network operating system. So when they flip the switch, these guys will be with their sleeper cells. Now, some say that they know this, some say that they don't. I could care less. The point of this series is to get you to understand how the collapse is going to take place. If you want to use the word collapse. But everybody's going to look for an external invasion. It's an internal cellular invasion. They have already hijacked your cells, your organs. So you can have a massive heart attack, like a lot of people do. You could drop dead. You could do this, that, and other. Niggas say, oh, coronary arrest, blah, blah, blah. No, this is a frequency war. And so now they have what is called wireless body area network training. Everybody's computer, if you look on your computer, it has these letters, I-E-E-E. Now, during this series, we're going to go. This is going to be probably one of the most technical and biological series that I've done, because without understanding the Institute of Electronics and electrical engineers, and when we get into understanding the I-E-E-E spectrum, this is how electrical engineering computers work. Zeros and ones. And once you understand that we are already connected to the power grid. So if the power grid black out, you black out. Because your body is the power grid. Man, these devils are light years ahead. So you are a wireless body area network. You are a Wi-Fi. So Wi-Fi is connected to Bi-Fi, biological internet. You are the biological internet. They're using a wireless body area network. It's called W-band. It's connected to what is called a BSN, a body sensory network. That's you, bruh. That's you, sis. So that means I can do touchless torture. I don't got to touch you and fuck you up. This is under the DOD document 3000.09. It's called the body internet, or the bioelectrical magnetic algorithm, net-centric mosaic warfare. So spiritual acoustics fucks up that system. For some reason or other, the wiring, the self-assembling nanobots that they injected into you, they put inside. Now, everybody has it. People tell me all the time, well, shit, I didn't get the jab. It doesn't matter. You drink the water. Well, I filter my water. Still don't matter. You breathe the air. Ain't no mother walking around with no damn, keeping in no oxygen tank and have no freaking mask on 24/7, 365. That shit's in the air. It's in the water. It's in all your food. We went to a party, and this is, they served, the caterer there had, the meal was chicken. And I've never seen a chicken breast that big. There's no way that was, so I looked at it like, damn. So you knew that was, and then I saw the drumstick looked like a freaking turkey leg. So I said, well, is this chicken or is this turkey? And I said, no, this is chicken. There's no way that's chicken. Freaking chicken was huge. Obviously, it was a genetically modified, stimulate, steroids, whatever. So obviously, I wasn't eating that. But that's how they get this shit into the body. So we got to break down. Remember, I told everybody that fundamentally, at the fundamental basis, that number 802.155.6. We got to break all. We got to break that down. That's the Pentagon's system that they use to bring about what they call wireless or wired destruction. So we are all wired for destruction. But they're having difficulty with people who operate on a certain frequency. Notice I didn't say listen to a certain frequency. Because right now everybody's telling you, oh, you got to listen to. You are the technology. The goal is they don't want you to understand that you are the technology. Because that interferes with what they call cognitive computing. You have cognitive capabilities, but I got to get you to voluntarily give up your cognitive, God-given, and take Lucifer's system. Remember, there's a war coming. As Sophia Stewart broke down when I interviewed her, many years ago when she was talking about the Matrix. And she wrote that because she said Source Code gave her this download many years ago, where the children of God is versus the children of man. The children of man is technology. The children of God is what we call humanity. So technology is waging war against humanity. And it's already here. So you are now the data source or the target where they're going to have some people say drone, some people say NSA portal interface. Basically, it's how they access your data. That's why everything is about what? Data. This is geomancy. Geomancy. When I wrote that book, did that series on geomancy. It's a coordinated effort to mess up your ability to be authentic and compassionate. So you are able to override their system if you are authentic and if you are operating in compassion. Because that frequency destroys the intercellular or intercellular self-assembling nanobots that they are injecting into the body, and that when we drink water, when we eat food, when we breathe air, all of this stuff is interfering with our natural ability to express, expose, and expand ourselves. That's the system. And so the reason why this series is so important, because most of the biosensors, you already got them. You already have an electrical, magnetic, chemical, and optical. They can literally see through your eyes with their biosensors. Now, all of this stuff is at the DARPA website, the DOD website, the CIA.gov website. All this information, that's where I got it from. Anybody can get the information. And what this class is more about is, making you, number one, problem aware, then also, number two, making you solution aware, but more importantly, number three, make you implementable aware. How do you implement the information? Because if everybody, and you could easily tell because I talk about the archaic way by which everything is done in this universe, in this system. From religion to, as you mentioned, food and everything. So everybody knows, you got to be a genius. You can look at the politics, what's going on right now in D.C. Democrats get the Republicans, Republicans get the Democrats, blah, blah, blah. So anybody can see that, okay, the system is not a harmonious arrangement. We're not working together. Not only on an individual level, but on a higher level. Then we got to get into what's going on with the planet Earth. Wars, rumors of wars, earthquakes, everything that's going on because the core of the Earth is heating up. You might tell you guys about the Japanese scientist that's, on TikTok crying like a newborn baby because nobody understands the global catastrophe that's coming. Now, remember, the good old boys, they're all building, all billionaires, they building what? Bunkers. So they know. From Bezos to Elon Musk, everybody's building a bunker. But why, though? Why are they building bunkers? And why are they spending millions and billions of dollars on these bunkers? Well, there's an organization that's called Global Consciousness, and in that organization, they're looking at the and it's called NOO. I forgot the exact name of it. Basically, it's how they monitor the Earth. They're monitoring the solar flares. Got to break that down. Why? Because for some reason or other, the solar flares are getting through Earth's atmosphere now that getting the harmful ones. The Earth's atmosphere always blocked the harmful UV rays. Well, it doesn't anymore. That's heating up the Earth. But it's not heating up the Earth, it's heating up the core of the Earth. The core is expanding like a balloon. It's like your belly when it expands when you eat too much pasta. What happens to the buttons on your shirt? Ping, 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 they pop off. So when I was 17, I could wear a medium shirt. Small. I can't wear small no more. If I try to put my body into a small t-shirt, it don't work. Because my body has expanded. Well, the same thing is happening to the core of the Earth. The core of the Earth is expanding, so the crust causes what we call an earthquake. Creates cracks in the surface, so everybody's talking about the surface. That's the effect, bruh. What's the cause of the surface cracking? The core. How come nobody, you see that shit on the news anywhere? I ain't seen no Tom, Dick, or Harry talking about the core of the Earth. Shit, that's all I've been studying for the last 5 years, the core of the Earth. So I got to share with you what I've been studying, man. You're not going to believe it. You will not believe it. And they've been knowing this. So that's why I wrote the book, The True Adam and Eve Story. And I talk about the coming cataclysm. That's what's happening. So when you read in the Bible about the flood and all that shit, that's what happens. It's cyclical. But it can stop. So we got to talk about how you stop it. Well, shit, Dr. Greg Brading and everybody talking about shit, you need about 1,000 people. That's it. 1,000 people can override 7 billion people. But shit, we can't get 3 people to agree on shit. How the fuck you gonna get 1,000? Ain't happening. That's why this shit just keeps happening over and over and over again. Because we do not understand the lethal autonomous weapons systems. The law. LAWS. Lethal Autonomous Weapons Systems. That's on DARPA's website. They want to make sure that you're not autonomous. That means that you ain't tuned into your true, authentic self. You're just part of the hive mind. You can't think for yourself. I mean, not you personally, of course, but, people, you're influenced by the dominant culture. You do the same shit that you see on TV. If everybody getting a BBL, you got to go get one. If everybody wearing skinny jeans, you got to wear them. Everybody do the same thing that everybody else do. So you're not autonomous. They know it because they're the one who wrote the program. And it ain't bad. It ain't good because I did the same thing. We all do the same thing because by the time you figure this shit out, your ass too old to do anything about it because it's the young generation. It's the next generation that you can't reach. Ain't no young black man going to listen to no old black man. When I was young, I ain't listened to no old fools either. They was old washed up. They didn't know what the fuck they was talking about. So the system just keeps repeating itself and they know it. They know damn well that you ain't going to listen. Not you personally. I'm talking about, your motherfucker. So what do? Your job is to understand you've been hijacked. So you got to question the nature of your reality like I say on every show. Acquisition and processing of information is the name of the game. It's the acquisition and the processing of information. That determines implementation. If you ever stop and question that the dominant culture are using your biometrics against you, this is medical. These are medical applications I'm talking about. So your organs now are they're routing a current through your body. Your body is the computer now. So the biosignals that is creating the biological metrics are called biomarkers. So they can read and they can determine where you are now because they've put nanoparticles inside of your DNA that mimic your DNA. They're using DNA-based nanoparticles to carry a frequency or to connect with a frequency. That frequency could be a virus. So they can put shit into your body that mimics the virus. So you you think you're sick. They just flip the switch. So no, you can't take a gun to a frequency fight. That's not how it works. But you can take a mental disposition. Now the crazy thing about this is the effectiveness of your brain on the what they call a cognitive technology threat warning system, CTWS. Your brain, your God, your true authentic self is way more powerful than that technology. But there's a certain connection, we'll put it that way, with the true authentic self that keeps you from expressing this vertical fear because of your horizontal connection. Like, I'm like getting close to getting out of this frequency war, we'll put it that way. So when you are in the dark, everything goes wrong. I'm talking everything goes dark. What do? Well, that's the point of this series. The point of this series is to understand that, there's an electronic integrated disease. They want to use electronics to integrate and put you in a specific dis-ease state. That's the only way that the surveillance system works. It's literally called EIDSS. That's their system. But their electronic integrated disease surveillance system, it doesn't work unless you have disease, unless you are in a state of mental uneasy. You have to be what they call unalivened. You cannot be alive. You cannot be in a state of love, joy, peace, gentleness, meekness, and self-control. It fucks up their system. They operate on 802.15.5. We're going to break down that's a very, very important number as we're going to break down as we get into understanding how the DNA and how you become a digital node or a digital mode, M-O-D-E, or an N-O-D-E. That's the only way they can track you now. So you become trackable with the drones and all that shit as long as you're operating inside of fear. So when you get out of fear, then you are making it difficult for them to track you, for them to harass you. So the whole point of this series, again, is to understand how this whole bioinformational engineering system works. That's why it's acoustic physics or spiritual acoustics. So spiritual acoustics, at the end of the day, this is all about tying in biology, genetics, molecular biology, system biology, and synthetic biology. So we're taking all of those different systems and we're going to use what they are using. What are they using? Quantum computing, robotics, artificial intelligence, machine learning, large machine learning, and what they call biomarkers or nothing but bio. So they're taking your bioinformation. So they're taking your bioinformation, they put it into a quantum computer. They want to turn you into a robot so that way you're more accessible and you literally are artificial. So they can put you into this machine. That's the game. The game is to make you synthetic instead of authentic. Synthetic biology. Then they can upload you into the cloud. Now you're part of the hive mind. Now you don't have your own individual mind. Now remember, all this shit has already happened. They finalized everybody's brain in 2012. All the new kids that have been born, that she's not born, which is why my daughter just had a baby. She had the baby at home. She refused to have the. She didn't want to have that baby imprinted. Now she just has to, thankfully she's got a holding nurse, blah blah blah. So even doing the well baby checkup and all of that stuff, so that baby's foot print has not hit parchment or paper. She has no manufactured certificate of origin that we call a birth certificate. So she's not under the crown system, or he's not under the crown system. But the goal now becomes keeping his soul, mind, will, emotion, imagination, intellect. Our goal is, okay, we're going to get ours back. You got to get back control of your own mind, will, emotion, imagination, and your intellect. Right now, it's under the control of the hive mind. That's what everything that we're talking about is getting back your autonomous. You get back your own soul, your own mind, your own will, your own emotions, your own imagination, your own intelligence. One nation under God. That's the goal of this series. For you to take back control from the perspective of being and having a true, authentic, vertical connection with singularity. So that way you're not underground warfare or underground software. They can't use your body area as a network. That's what this series is about. It's about establishing a mental disposition that really turns off. No matter what they're doing, you can turn it off. You can limit, and you don't need a computer. You are the computer. What they're doing is they are actually manipulating your organs. They've already done it. So the tissue inside of your organ creates a frequency, wave, or vibration, or field. They know that. So what they're doing is they want to make sure that, okay, your organs, especially your immune system, remember, you have an aura. Everybody has an aura. And your aura is emitting a frequency, a wave, or vibration. So what they're doing, they created a system that uses your lymph nodes, your vessels, your spleen, your spine, your biofield emits a biological marker. They now have access. How? They got a way to access. It's called SALUS, S-A-L-U-S. We're breaking that down. They using your own electrical and cellular homeostasis to basically hijack you, to separate you from source, and to connect you to anti-source, what we call a computer. Because as I said before, as we will prove, that there's a book called Human Interactions and Integration. And it can only be done with Sanskrit or sand or silicone. So Project Looking Glass, Project Pandora, Project Maven, all of these uses the 802.15.6.5.4. We're on the 0.6 version now. This is radio frequency. They use EGG to bring about a brainwave connection with the sand, with silicone, with Sanskrit, with Shaitan, with Shackles. So this is DNA biofrequency. It's a DNA biofrequency weapon that connects you to the grid. But they don't tell you what the grid is. So your body area network is what they're using. So all of this is what we're going to be talking about. But we just talk. We're not going to, we're going to jump on the part of the but we're going to spend 90% of the time talking about your mind and talking about, okay, this biofield, this medical implant that messes up the communication system. And when I say, remember, this is touchless. It has nothing to do. You ain't got to go to surgery. You ain't got to do nothing. You are, especially if you're a TI, what they call a targeted individual, you're suffering from what they call the Havana syndrome. Now, remember, this has been around the 1990s. Savannah, remember, it flew like all of the symptoms of what we call COVID. They also had over Cuba a long time ago. They just changed the name. It's COV ban, but they just changed it from ban to ID. Remember, Body Area Network, COVBAN, Body Area Network. And so the only way for you to get out of this modulation system is with the Bible. But it's the basic instructions before leaving Earth. So what they do, well, they demonize the Bible. They hijack the Bible. So that way you don't have true connected to authentic source. How do I know? Fruit. Look at the fruit. So it's very easy to understand the fruit when you understand what they call, there's a term that they call it Hades. And I forgot the exact name, what each letter stands for, but I got that in my notes. We're going to break down Hades as well. It's part of what they call, I don't know if y'all remember Raycon. There's a company called Raycon, and they developed the Hades technology. So we got to go out of that. Excuse me, we got to go through that technology as well. They got another thing we're going to break down is a system called Horus, OSIRIS system, Horus. That's, again, all of this stuff is at the, especially if you're not taking the class, you can go to DARPA's website, you can go to DOD, Department of Defense, and you also go to the CIA's website. It's where a lot of this information is coming from. Because remember, people don't want the solutions because they don't understand the problem. So you don't understand the problem, you don't want the solution. Hades, thank you, Big G. High accuracy detection exploration system, if I remember correctly. Hades is here. Lucy for high accuracy detection and exploration, not exploration. They want to exploit. So they got a way to detect and exploit your biological systems. They call it Hades. Again, we got to be breaking down. That's again because there's no value. There's no perceived value, and it's interesting because I don't know if you've noticed it, but there's no perceived value in a lot of the stuff that I do, and most truth seekers. Because I'm noticing, even with my boy Billy Carson, a lot of other people that I'm watching, people are not interested in that anymore because of artificial intelligence. So people actually believe that shit, man. I just go to AI and get it. But you got to know what AI is. It's artificial intelligence. And everybody's cool with it. Yeah, man, I'm a researcher. Now, don't get me wrong. I use AI too. I'm just like Solomon. Remember, Solomon built a temple sitting on his ass. He had total mastery over 72 demons. They did the work. While he watched TV, he's probably eating a Popeye's chicken salad and stew. Solomon didn't do shit. If you understand the story, especially if you read the lesser keys and the greater keys of Solomon. But Solomon has something that we don't got. Well, the average got to keep it on. Because the dude walk around calling himself 19 keys. Now, I don't really know too much about my man. And the other guy, Yaku, or whatever, that he does some nutritional stuff. But my boy, 19 Keys, talks about a lot of this, same stuff. He calls himself 19 Keys because, he says he's a high-level thought leader. So he does high-level conversations. You watch his podcast, he does a lot of what he calls high-level conversations. They focus a lot on some of the stuff I talk about, especially innovation, technology, and artificial intelligence, a.k.a. Web 3. Again, I can't speak on my man. I haven't listened to none of his stuff. I don't know anything about him. So definitely not going to say anything negative. He's another black man doing his thing. But he deals with what? Keys. I just did the series and wrote the book, The Game of Life. And I gave you guys the keys. The only key that really matters. The only key. There's really only one key. It's the secret of all secrets of all secrets of secrets. And it's crazy. Because you know what the secret is? The secret of all secrets is I am that I am. That's the secret. It's Asha, Iya, or Aya, Asha. Asha, Iya, Asha. That's what it means in ancient text. In the book of Exodus. So now you have been given the keys. No, I had this inside of my book. Keys to the Kingdom. What is the key? You. Who are you? God. What's a God? Generator, operator, director. But what the fuck does that mean in English? That means you are a mirror. The best way to explain it is my boy, the mirror principle. If you understand the mirror principle, which is what? The universe is a mirror. So my question to you is, what image are you? What image? What mental picture is in your brain? Look at the word image. I-M-A-G-E. That's the secret. If you don't understand nothing, this was inside of remember the book that I wrote, Decode the Code? Another book, Secrets to the Game of Life. What image am I presenting to the mirror? Because that's exactly what I'm going to get. That's the secret. The secret to life, to everything. However you show up, that's how you blow up. That's hard, right? Why? Because you can't blame nobody now. Whose fault is it? You showing up as fill in the blank. But you're going to get mad at somebody else because you showing up broke. But you ain't broke, but you showing up broke. Or you showing up, angry or lost or confused. Why would you show up like that? Okay. How do you change how you show up? That's what I've been talking to you guys about every day. You become whatever you're fascinated with. You become whatever you're occupied with. So they know that. So they make sure you stay occupied with bills and problems, with sickness, with fear, with doubt and unbelief. You bring about what you think about. You are your thoughts. So there's nothing wrong with you. It's just how we choose to show up. So we got to re-engineer our life. We got to re-engineer our vocabulary. The secret is we all have what's called voice-activated DNA. That's what this series is about. You got mirror neurons inside of you. They mimic. You got really mimic neurons. They just mimic. You are the universal life force energy. You are an individual expression of God. Could you imagine if you really believe that? The reality is what you tell yourself it is. But there's a time gap. It takes time to change your reality from what it is now to what you want it to be. So during that time, you got to fuck up your mind between the time the shit manifests. That's the Prince of Persia. It talks about it. Remember, it took it 21 days. He wrestled with the moment that you ever thought, I am wealthy. The universe says, give that Negro money. But there's a time delay. So the delay between you saying I am wealthy and you becoming wealthy, in between that time, you change your mind. Just the game. The game is for you to occupy your mind with your God-given design. That's why it's not fake. See, it's hard for you to be something that you're not. You can be anything you want. I just recommend that you be what you designed. See, it doesn't take me no effort to be creative, to be imaginative, and to communicate. Because I'm a 336. I do this shit in my sleep. So why would I want to do anything else? So the enemy knows that, though. So the enemy got to make sure, who's the enemy? Me, the old me. See, the 8-year-old me just want to be safe and secure, stable. It doesn't want me to thrive. They want to keep me on get-along street. Just survive, homie. I don't want you to thrive. I just want you to barely squeak by. So I decided, you know what? I don't want to barely squeak by no more. Fuck that. Well, the old me is saying, hold up, bruh. That requires us to get out of our comfort zone. We got to get out of the box of skeeting by. We just skeet right underneath the radar. You barely pay that bill on time. You barely getting by me. You like, you make $100, the bills come to $99. But you making it, though, dog. You making it. But you barely making it. One hiccup, call in sick one day, throws the whole system off. Okay, we all been doing it. And now we want to live in, now it's time to get into the overflow system. Okay? We all make decisions, Doc. Time to operate in overflow. Okay, now you gotta manage the network infrastructure. You gotta manage it. Or you're gonna get some artificial generated intelligence to create a global network that has a very unique data structure and an artificial algorithm that is using your neural, but it's artificial neurological network for your functional connectivity. But it's all based upon artificial intelligence. So that's Sanskrit, that's sand, that's silicone, that's the gin, that's fire, but I ain't got shit to do with source. So they are smart. I want to get you on the system. It's like every time they come out with a new product, it's on sale. It's still like hotcakes. You try the new product, you like it. After you've been using that product for about 2 or 3 months, you go back to the store, shit's been tripled in price. You're like, what the? They hook you first. Just like all the rappers come out, they thugs. They tat it up, they kick ass and take names. Like, damn, that nigga goes 4-4. Then the next thing you know, he lost a bunch of weight, his pants is painted on, and he's feminized. He's like, hold up, what happened to the nigga who came out? He had a teardrop. He was a thug. Gold all up in his grill. Nigga was hard as fuck. Now he looks like your girl. When did he change? Computer-generated neurons. Neurons designed by a low vibrational. That's deep learning neuron networks. Part of the hive mind. So this is about acoustics. Now, there's a biological neuron and then there's an artificial neuron. This series is about your biological neuron. This series is about making sure that, remember, it's a little bit ahead of the curve because the real shit ain't really hit the fan yet. But we don't want it until it hits the fan. We want to establish the mindset before all of the dominant culture rolls out their dominance. We don't want to wait because then, again, you're behind the curveball. Your spiritual acoustics is acoustical physics. Acoustical physics is another word for what we talked about, years ago, that the Native Americans, they call it stone medicine. So your brain should be set in stone. Another word for it is called stone magic. You should have a specific disposition that activates the magnetite and the calcite crystals inside of your brain, and it activates the zinc inside of your spinal cord, quasi crystals. Crystal skull activation. That way, Project Looking Glass and Project Woodpecker and the Philadelphia Experiment, the Gateway Project and Project Bluebeam, all that shit can't fuck with you. Because you are firm, fair, and consistent. You have what the Bible calls sophrenes mas, sound mind. See, God's not giving us a spirit of fear. He gives us a spirit of love, power, and sophrenes mas, a sound mind. That's what this is about. Because it's not here yet. They ain't turned it on yet. Everybody's organ has already been mapped out. When they flip that 5G on nationwide, you're going to drop or harmonize. There's a few people that's totally off the system, off the grid. Not only do you have to get off the grid, you have to stay off the grid. And the way that you stay off the grid is to make sure that you do not allow too much excess sugar, carbs, and starch to stay in the system. Now, again, I ain't saying, I know I don't do no retentive, strict diet and all of that shit. Because remember, it's mental. More so than it is material. This series is about the mental sound that's required for frequency healing and for you to restore the total functionality of your blood, your cells, and your DNA. You literally do the cellular and the DNA work reprogramming your own self, as we will prove, based upon all of the science that's coming out. When you understand that you have this power and it's been given to you by source at birth, then you will understand that this nanotechnology uses what they call a BAN and a PAN system. And your job is to take control of it. Don't be afraid of it like they're going to teach you. The church is going to come out and say everything is evil, it's the devil. See, the devil works on fear. So it's going to start off with the nano. It's going to go to what they call ban. It's going to go to pan. It's going to go to land. It's going to go to can. It's going to go to man. It's going to go to ran. And it's going to go to WAN, W-A-N. The end of the game is W-A-N. We're going to put all of this down in the series. So we've got to start off. Remember, during this series, we're talking about the solution. I'm going to touch on the problem, but the problem is multifaceted than you wouldn't believe me if I told you. You'll be like, that's not possible. Doctor, because it's the same shit I said. But everything starts with nano. Then from nano, it goes to body area networks. Then the rest of them I'll break down in the series. But they already introduced nanotechnology. Now they're doing body area networks. Then they got to go to PANs, then LANs, then CANs, then MAN, that's you and me, and then RAN, some of us already know that already, and then WAN. Those are the systems in place that we are going to override. That's the Pentagon 300.009 system. All of that I took off the Pentagon's website. That is metamaterials, a material that is not found in nature. They put your ass on the metaverse if you're not already there. Metamaterials is code for manipulation of electrical magnetic wave. That's what it means. Block, absorb, enhance, rewire. That's the system. Metamaterials. That's what they put your ass on the metaverse. That's a meta surface. Once there, it's a wrap for you. Once you are on the meta, once you are on their system, remember it's called metamaterials. Because we're breaking it down. That is the metaverse. When you are on them, when you're using, remember it starts off though nano, then BAN, WN. There's 7 layers to this game, to their game. You control all 7 of your chakras. Some say 9. It doesn't matter. Remember, we're talking about the problem. The problem is metamaterials, which are materials not found in nature. They use shape, gematria, and sigils. What do demons use? To manipulate subatomic particles using large language models, symbols, signs, and sigils. Biomimicry. Then we broke that down in the AI Summit class. So all this technology is designed to block, absorb, and enhance. To make you a fit extension, a walk-in. They walk right in and take over your mind, will, emotion, imagination, intellect, using quantum computing, signature reduction, and what they call logic. LOCK logic. That's part of the N3H02H. 802.15.5 system. They call them N3s. All based upon large language models. And this, my brothers and sisters, is non-touch, non-invasive. That means They can fuck you up and you don't even know it. You don't even feel it. You just be driving along. You just turn and drive your car to the White House. Like, remember that one lady? Probably a black chick, remember back in the day? When your boy Obama was in office. She just drove, had a baby in her car too. Just drove right to the gate. They lit her up. She don't remember what happened. So brothers and sisters, this is one of those series that if you kind of, weak, like you newly saved or you just got out of, Christendom, this might not be for you. This is a big boy series because we got to really, really go into the problem a little bit more than I usually would like. I usually go into because right now because remember they want to make you happy being unhappy. They want to give you a form of freedom that's not free. They want to give you synthetic freedom, along with your synthetic biology and synthetic life, synthetic. Look at the word, synthetic. They want to suck the blood out of you. The most dangerous part of this series is breaking down Sanskrit, breaking down the sand, breaking down, arm, leg, arm, head, a lot. That's why Silicon Valley. The jinn, they love sand because sand can be heated up and turned into glass. Glass fucks up your cash. That's the system. Silicone, technology, artificial intelligence, everything that everybody loves. I love it. You love it. We all love it. But you are supposed to be maestro. You're supposed to be the master of Project Looking Glass. You're supposed to look in the glass and see yourself. You're supposed to master Skyrim. You're supposed to be able to walk into a seance and shut that shit down with your aura. If you gotta talk, it's too late, bro. That means your cheese off, homie. Like I tell all the ladies, you should walk into fucking Walmart and shut it down. But I mean, when you walk in, Negroes, their mouth should just stop. You just drop. They just like, damn, who the fuck is that? If not, you gotta check your game. Your game is weak. But you can't do that because you got religion. I mean, not you personally, but people you know. That's the devil's system. See, a tick sucks out your blood, sucks your energy out. So you are old, waiting for your time. You look old. You're not old. I'm over 60. Everywhere I go, people think I'm fucking 30 and 40. You should not look old. If you are old, you fucking religious. Not you personally, but people you know. Now, if you are 100, like I saw this lady on TV last night, she was 109. She looked 70. I still don't believe she's 109. I don't know if you saw that on TV last night. So the TV, the lady, I forgot the name of the restaurant, and it's on the east side, and she's an older black lady. She was 100, I think it was 109. I like, there's no way that lady's 109. Fully functional, running a restaurant and everything. Full activities of her mind. She looks maybe 70. I know she ain't got no tick sucking her blood. That's the reason why this system is so important. Because you are the airship of a living library. It's called skin tronics, which is the next level above spin tronics. Skin tronics. SKIN. So we got to get rid of or monetize, engineer, because they want to use it to create what they call wireless tissue engineering by using your body area as the network. They call it BAN, Body Area Network. They want to use your skin to turn you into what is called a psychic poltergeist. Source want to use your skin to turn you into what? A vertical connection with Source. So that's the war. There's a war going on for the use of your skin. That's why melanina, or the lamb in male, lamb in me. So we got to activate the lamb. This is wave genetics. We got to create an electrical magnetic wave. This is an electrical magnetic wave, brothers and sisters, that you got to do. Nobody can do this for you. There's no reverend, there's no doctor, there's no bishop. This protects you from the radiation from the sun. You are an electrical magnetic wave. This creates and makes you into what they call a hyper surface being. This is literally what they call EM wave. But it's 7 EM waves. But there's 7, that on the electrical magnetic spectrum. Do you know that you are the electrical magnetic spectrum? So we're going to be breaking down how to turn your body into an electrical magnetic, part of the electrical magnetic spectrum, where you can simulate, for lack of a better term, the entirety of the electrical magnetic system, where you literally are you are the technology. So everything that a computer does is just reverse engineered spirit. So we are spiritual, acoustical beings. That's what we are. The point of this series is to prove to you that you are a spiritual, acoustical being. And when you understand your true anointing, your true power, then you can walk in acoustical power. This is the study of what they call mechanical waves. But it's really vibration and sound. That's what acoustic is in physics. You are vibration and sound, and you do what? How does sound travel? How does sound affect other things that it come into contact with? When you understand who you are, when you understand how you travel, when you understand how your aura, your energy changes things with your energy. See, your energy shows up way before you do. This series is about the 3 components of you. You are the architect of your acoustical, spiritual expression. It's time for us to all walk in the components of our spiritual sound. Because when you understand that you have been given these 3 attributes and characteristics that allow you to effect subatomic particles with thought, you can sit your ass at home on the sofa and run the world. That's just how powerful you are. Class starts tomorrow. Y'all know, same as always. It's $497. Early registration drops it down to $297. For all my paid in full members, y'all know y'all good. For everybody else, we'll see you mañana. God bless.